So, first of all, what was it like growing up without a father?
I had a few, I had problems with it growing up, but like once I got to a certain age, I realized that my mom did the best job that she could by herself, trying to, raise a young boy. 'Cause I'm our only boy, so I know it was hard for her trying to raise me up. She don't, you can't really tell her, man, problems with. I also had problems with like being around my grandfather because he's not really that type of person to like show too much affection. He only like he was able to give me basic things like how to handle your money and how to handle finances and things like that. But he was never really able to give me moral guidance. And despite the fact that my father wasn't there in physical presence most of the time when I was growing up, I was still able to learn lessons through phone calls, going to go visit him a little bit, and maybe writing me letters too while he was inside.
Now, did you finish high school?
Yes.
And what would you say to the young dudes that are thinking of dropping out of school?
Just like out of high school,
Yes.
that's just the beginning point. I mean, you gotta, you gotta fight.
Excuse me. Well, let me cut you off because one of the things, man, here recently, a lady was elected in Kansas, and I asked her that her first piece of legislation be that no longer can kids drop out of school. Because the bottom line is this: why are we letting a 16-year-old dysfunctional motherfucker, you understand, make a decision from him and a mother or father who's dysfunctional too, that's going to ruin the rest of his life? Now, why in the hell do we as a society, sir, yeah, I don't have you in this, but why do we do? Why do we let kids drop out of? That doesn't make any sense, does it? There you go. Right on. You know the sad. You know, one of the things that's really amazing about what Trump is putting together, many of these people want to privatize education. But when they privatize education, that takes dollars out of public education where our young black kids are not being educated properly already. You know, let me say something else, because I've been doing some other things. One of the real things that the white man did to us is called the Electoral College, right? He set up a vote when they made the Constitution. It don't have to be the most number of people that vote for somebody that wins. You just got to carry the most red states. And what they're saying is basically the white man just got to stick together. But what we have to start doing here in Kansas City, we have to start correcting our problem. Now, again, here's a young man we just met that had to go and meet his father in prison. 2 weeks ago, right here in another chair, we had a brother that spent 38 years of his life in prison. On the last documentary that I did, in a small town in Kansas, a family, the father and their sons, have spent, sir, listen, 100 years in prison. Young brothers in Kansas City, this man had to go and visit his father in prison. His father that he had never seen. That's going to happen to one of you boys down there in the back. One day, somebody's going to sit across from the table from you for the dumb shit you're doing down there right now. From the people that you're hurting and killing. used to be against the law for us to learn to read and write. That's a bitch. Isn't it, fellas? Man, one last thing I'd like you to say. Alright? And again, man, because we can edit this whatever we need to do. But man, bake these guys out.
Everybody, the thing is, everybody wants to start about Black Lives Matter and movement and everything that it needs to stop, police need to stop brutalizing black people, but it also starts,
Right there.
all starts
Tell
with,
that.
all starts with black on black crime hitting. But it happens too often, every single day. I listen, my nieces and nephews watch the news. I'm like, oh, somebody else got killed. Oh my God. And they just started school. They just started school and they understand this reality that we live in. Everybody just want to kill for no reason. Because of what streets you're claiming or whatever it may be. It's never really that. It's not really that different. Kids being shot in the streets. Innocent bystanders. All the time. It's sick. Everybody just need to come together, build our community back up, create a Black Wall Street here in Kansas City.
Listen, because I'm going to drift a minute. The young man just said something that we've been talking about. He just said, build a Black Wall Street. And this message, and I know it might not reach many of you, but this message is to every black minister in Kansas City. Think about this. Monday morning, why don't all of you get together and put all of our black money into one bank? And let us start to create our own Wall Street, our own black bank. Look, one thing, or not one thing, but something as Martin Luther King was struggling for us to get equal rights. Some of the white men used to say, hey, what about separate but equal? Okay, you done left us here in the ghetto. Now we want our houses to be equal to those in Overland Park. You see what I'm saying? How in the hell can people that voted for Trump complain about the standard that they have? It's crazy. But like I said, man, we're going to wrap this impromptu interview up. But again, man, like I said, we'll edit part of this out when we put into the final project. You know, and like I said, particularly as you talked about, like I said, when you had your hands and stuff, you know. Because again, man, just think, your father being in the pen, the man that was interviewed a couple of weeks ago, having served 38 years in the penitentiary. You know, man, you know, like I said, when you spell sagging backwards, S-A-G-G-I-N, it spells niggas. And we are not niggas. And I appeal to you mothers here in Kansas City. Don't send your kids out like that. Who's gonna hire them? Like I said, the white man has done us wrong, but we have to stop hurting ourselves. Signing off. Miles, tell them a shout out.
Moving in the barbershop. You want your young brothers to go to work 12 hours a day, every day. Don't have nothing else to do besides rest. Rest and work. Moving in the barbershop. Rise up, Kansas City.
We're out. Hey, again, we are here in Moving On Up Barbershop in Grandview, Missouri. And we are doing another episode of Rise Up Kansas City. And man, we are going to be coming to you not only from here in the shop, but we're getting ready to start taking our cameras out into the streets to interview the young boys here in Kansas City. Ask them, you know, how can we help you young men to lay down the weapons, stop the killing, man, get out and get a job, take care of your family, these babies. But again, I just met you. First of all, what is your name? Well, let me say this to you before we start this interview. All right? You open up your mouth and you speak plainly. You understand? And that's one of the main things for a lot of you young men out in the street. When you speak to somebody or someone speaks to you, look them in the eye and express and tell them what you want, what you need, and let them develop a perception of you, and a positive perception. That's what men like you, like I say, we just met and we're just starting this. Man, but when you go out into the street, your appearance means so much. You've heard that before, haven't you? All right? Again, we just met. Your name again? And you just moved here from where? From where? In where? You're just coming here to Kansas City. You're just getting ready to get indoctrinated to the people in the streets, to what's happening and everything else. But I just met you and you said you're out of school and you're 15. Why are you out of school? In Louisiana? Okay, explain your story. Go ahead.
It was shoes.
Talk louder.
It was some shoes and games.
And you were selling weed to get the shoes? You know, man, a couple of weeks ago I met some young men here in the shop. And I told them, and they said, man, we do things because we want things. And I said, man, before you ruin your life, before you go steal something or do something stupid, come to us elders, man, and explain to us or talk. And there's some of us, man, that will help you or give it to you. You understand? So again, we just met today, right? You're in Moving On Up Barbershop, right? Hey, excuse me. Hey, Miles, I'm telling this young man something today. He's out of school because he sold weed in school. I just met him. But Miles, for the rest of the time that I'm living, this young man right here can come to you when you need something. You understand me? I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart. Tell him, and I'll get it for you. You understand me? Don't you ever steal nothing again, sir. You understand? Because like now, what did it get you? How you gonna get back in school? Man, you're a big young boy. In one of the documentaries I did, A Message to Black Boys, there was a 320-pound young dude I met as a freshman. I bought him groceries, I did everything I could. And one time he wanted something. And I said no because of what he was doing. And he said, fuck you. And I told him, wait until I see you on the street. And when I did, I lifted his 320-pound ass up against a wall in a high school classroom and told all his buddies, look at this faggot now. And that's really, man, the thing that I want to say to you, because we're going to cover some other things. We interviewed the other week a gentleman that served 38 years in prison. Can you imagine going to prison now? Can you? What do you think would happen? You don't know, do you? And a lot of the young dudes down in the murder factory right now don't know and don't care and aren't thinking. But you want to know what's going to happen the first day when you go in? I'm going to tell you what the man that served 38 years said. He said, first, they're going to give you a cigarette. And you smoke, so you're going to want to smoke. He said, then they're going to give you a joint. Ah, man, shit, we're getting high. But then he said, they're going to tap you on your ass. And that night, the deal is done. Do you want that to happen to you? Huh? You got to change, man. Ain't nobody else gonna change you. Ain't nobody else gonna change these brothers down in the hood but God. You understand? Did you grow up with a father? There wasn't no man in your house, was there? That ain't your fault. It's not your mother's fault. It's these brothers' fault out in the street making these babies and that are not taking responsibility. If you make the child, at least support it. But the most important thing, and what's really ruining Kansas City and all of our urban centers, is because there aren't black men in the home. I won't mention him and I won't show him. But there's a gentleman getting the cut now that's an elder like myself. That's a carpenter. And we were just discussing. Listen, young guys, pick up a hammer. Learn to become a carpenter like you. Learn to become a plumber. If you don't want to go to school, learn a trade so that you will have the skills to survive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? And that's what you got to start coping with and other guys that are 15, 14 in your predicament. Just like you. You were going to school, weren't you? You were taking tests, weren't you? Right? But you didn't try at all, did you? Very little, right? And that's what's wrong, young brothers. You motherfuckers are failing not because you can't do. You motherfuckers are failing because you don't try. Your ancestors died. Look, fool, it used to be against the law. And I ain't saying to you, but I'm talking to the brothers down in the hood. It used to be against the law, excuse me, for you to learn to read and write. Did you know that? Huh? You didn't know that, did you? It used to be against the law. And now that we can, we're failing because we don't try. You understand what I'm saying to you? You're going to get another chance. You know that? You ain't been thinking about that, have you? But what I'm saying to you today is, right? And I'm pleading with you today. Change your life. Will you do that for me? Will you do that for Black America? Look, I need you, man, to be one of the first black young men in Kansas City. To say, rise up. Tell them. That's what we got to do, Black Kansas City. We got to rise up. We got to help these young brothers. It's not their fault. There ain't been nobody there to help you do your homework every night, is it? Now here's what I'm going to tell you. And here's what I'm telling every young kid in Kansas City and in the hood. Put down them little games and get on your computer and look up the kind, and that's what we're going to work on after this, the Khan Academy, but it's tutors online that will help you. You understand what I'm saying? So from now on, do you have a computer or anything on? You're gonna get online and you're gonna start studying. You understand me? Wherever you at, whatever grade, we going and look, we going up to the school and next couple. We're gonna get your ass back in school. You want to get back to school? If you do, will you try? I'm gonna get your ass back in school. All right. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you, if we were with some of your friends, would they understand where I'm coming from? Right. People don't talk to y'all like this very much, do they? All right. God bless you, man. Thank you. Hey, again, we're in moving on Barbershop with Miles Jefferson, and this is another episode of Rise Up Kansas City. Again, just like every time, it seems like when we walk into the shop, there's a very unique person here that can hopefully give us some insight into the problems that are happening here on the streets of Kansas City. Give me your name, man. One of the first questions I'd like to ask you, because when we were just talking, you dropped out of school at what age?
14.
You dropped out of school at 14?
Freshman.
And who allowed you to do that? Wasn't that one of the worst decisions you've ever made in your life?
Yeah.
Huh?
I can say. No, it helped me graduate, open my eyes.
But now, one thing, you went back and got your GED, right?
Yeah.
But many brothers don't do that, do they? But you know, first of all, let's go back a little ways. Man, you were 14 years old. What turned you off from school or with school?
People I was hanging around.
Do what
People
now?
I was hanging around. Introducing me to different things. I was interacting or whatever. It got me, distracted.
But what would you say to the young brothers down in the murder factory right now? I mean, is it worth it? Huh?
Not at all.
Ain't much out here, is it? Huh?
No.
How much do you make an hour, man, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll say roughly 850.
Right. And without more of an education, you're stuck, aren't you? Now, if you had the opportunity now to go back to school, what would you try to be?
Like you say, I like to be a carpenter. I like to build things. I
And,
like to work.
see, and that's really the amazing thing for me, and particularly as Miles is doing your hair right now, because Miles just remodeled his own shop. That's one of the things that I certainly am going to ask the city commissioners to do. You know, if you guys can't do well in school or don't want to, let's have alternative programs so that you can learn how to become a carpenter or a plumber, you know, or an electrician, you know, because if school isn't for you guys, you know, like I said, we just can't keep sending you out into the street. But now, like you, are you afraid being out in the street? Huh? Now, what gives you the confidence that you can roll and the next bullet won't have your name on it? Oh, open your mouth, partner.
I feel like I'm in God's hands at all times.
Hey, well, you know that. Let me say this. I really, really like that. And I just want to say to all of the young brothers and sisters in Kansas City and down in the murder factory, that man, listen, God is on your side. Like I said, man, it as an adult, as an elder, I accept responsibility. And all of us, adults here in Kansas City, we should accept responsibility because we've failed these young people. And the thing that we have to do is try to come up with programs that are going to benefit these young people and clean up our streets. Amen. Again, thank you very much, and God bless you. Miles, Roger.
Moving on up, rise up Kansas City, stop the